Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to this live stream. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and I'm very excited to do this live stream here once again on YouTube because I think the live stream today should be quite nice. Before we start, let me just hear from you guys if you can see me, hear me well, and then we'll get to the real thing, to the editing part. So I have my iPad right below the camera, so I'll be looking at your comments right here below the camera, and please let me know if you can hear me well and if you see me well, so we can begin today's video. Okay, a few confirmations already, so I think it's all good, so we can begin. So welcome everyone. I'm really excited to do this live stream as it's my first time doing such an event for the drone supremacy community, and I think we should start doing this a lot more often now that I saw how many people are really excited about this and how many people are jumping on board for an idea like this, editing your photos, the ones that you sent me. It's going to be really exciting. So first of all, I want to start off by saying massive thank you to everyone who sent me photos, because you guys completely blew me away. It was just insane. I received more than 300 photos. I think they were close to 400, and I keep receiving emails even now. So yeah, unfortunately I won't be able to take a look at the new emails because I just had to narrow these photos down to about 30, and I plan to edit each and every one of those 30 today. So the live stream should be quite long, I suppose, but we'll get through it together, and hopefully you guys will be tuning in for the whole duration of this live stream. Really excited for that. Hopefully I can give you some of the things that I know and show you how I do them, and hopefully you will learn something new watching me edit your amazing photos. I have to say, many of you really know me well because many of you sent me water photos, which, as you might know, are my absolute favorite ones to edit. And we have quite a nice selection of water photos. I, of course, had to choose some other ones as well because I really wanted to have some variation. But with that being said, it's time to move on to Lightroom. So just in a couple of seconds, I will switch to Lightroom and I'll show you all the photos that we'll be editing today, because I want to show you what you can expect from today's live stream and I want to keep you on your toes. So let's do that and open Lightroom. Okay. While we wait for that, I'm just going to quickly read some of your comments. All good, all fine. Okay. Okay, so let's see what photos we have for today's live stream. The ones that I will be editing are all right here. Once again, I want to thank you for all of your submissions. They were really great. And if I didn't choose your photo, it's not because it wasn't good enough or something like that. I just had no choice because there were just so many. So I had to choose just a few. And I chose 30. I think it might be a bit long to edit 30 photos in one live stream, but hopefully we can make it together. But here are the ones that I have selected, and before I show you, I just want to say that I plan to do this again very soon because it seems you guys are really interested in that, and I received so many different emails from all over the world, and it's just incredible. So let's start with this photo. I'll just go through them very quickly, and then I will start editing. So this is the first one, really nice. This one is also quite dark, but we'll work on that to make it really pop. This is the next one. Then we have this one. This is actually a photo from Bulgaria. This one is really cool. Then we have this sunset. These two cars, the Porsche and the Ferrari. We have this dam, a desert, another cathedral. This is actually in my hometown. I couldn't skip it. It's just a favorite photo of mine, a photo of something that I really love, this cathedral, so I had to include it. We have this surfer, this photo. Then we have this one, really colorful. I'm not really sure that there is something to do on this photo because it's so nice, so colorful, but we'll play with it a bit. We have this one. It's a panoramic shot put together from a couple of different photos. Then we have the incredible Norway. This is, yeah, very simple but very nice looking photo. I really want to edit that. Then we have the mountains. Then we have a beach photo. And keep in mind, many of these photos are in JPEG. The majority of them are actually in RAW, but some of them are in JPEG, so we'll have to adjust accordingly to the format of the photos. Then we have this lighthouse, which I really like. Then we have these waves. This is a JPEG photo of these waves that actually look quite incredible. Then we have this villa or church, or I'm not sure what it is exactly. It could be a church, but I'm not sure. Then we have this lake, probably, I think that's a lake, surrounded by beautiful nature. Then we have waves again. Then we have this one, which is really cool. Unfortunately, it's JPEG, so we can't really push it as much as I want to. Then we have this one, really cool photo. We have this shark, which it's such a perfect photo in my opinion. Then we have this, I believe that's a cathedral once again. Top-down shot. Then we have this wind generator, sunset, and finally this photo of something that I'm not sure what it is, but it looks very cool, and I cannot wait to edit all of these. So let's get back to the first one. I want to hear what you guys have to say about these photos, the selection, and like I said, once again, please, if I haven't chosen your photo to be in this live stream, don't be discouraged, because we will be doing that again very soon, because I think it's quite cool. Depending on how today goes, I think we can make it happen on a regular basis. So let me hear what you guys have to say. It seems that you really like these photos. Okay, so great to hear that you guys are liking the photos and the selection. So I think with that we can start editing the first one, and this is I cannot remember all of the locations of these photos because many of you sent me the location, the drone used, and a couple of different descriptions of these photos. Unfortunately, I don't remember all of them, but I think this was from somewhere very exotic, of course, as you can see. So I'm really excited to start with it. So let's just start by adjusting the exposure a little bit, as it's a bit dark. So I'll just increase the exposure. I'm not going to tell you guys everything that I'm doing. Hopefully you can see, if you full screen the video, you can see these sliders and what I'm doing on them, because it will be difficult for me to explain exactly every step of the way and also do it. So I'll increase the contrast, lower the highlights, increase the shadows. That's kind of like my go-to maneuver of everything that I do in the beginning of the edit. I drop the highlights and I increase the shadows, drop some clarity, and we already have a little difference in the photo. It's a bit brighter, it pops a bit more. So I'll adjust the vibrance, and I really like these green tones, but I'll adjust them very quickly because they are not exactly too cinematic, if I can say that. I will just move them a bit towards the yellow tone. And here is how it looks as of right now. And the water, I definitely need to do something about the water because it doesn't look too blue, so we'll fix that by using a gradient filter like so. And I'll adjust the temperature of this filter and make it blue. Not too much though. Wait. There we go. I'll increase the exposure a little bit and add a bit of contrast. Or actually no. So I really want to add a little bit of blue to this whole corner of the photo, because I think it's going to make it a lot more exotic looking, and it's going to just work a lot better for this location. I don't want to go overboard and just do it too much, so I'll just play with the blue until I'm satisfied with how it looks. And of course I'll add a little bit of saturation. I might even drag it a bit more. It's not going to affect this portion of the image that much, but it's going to add a little bit of blue into that corner. And I think we're pretty much done with this photo because it's just so good. I'm going to increase the whites a little bit so it pops a bit more, it's a bit brighter. And keep in mind, these edits that I'm doing today are not exactly what I would be doing every single time when I edit a photo. Normally I don't edit 30 photos at once, so I can play with one photo a lot longer, but for the sake of today's live stream I will try to make them a bit quicker, so I will not play around that much with each photo because it's just going to take forever. But that's pretty much it for this photo. I really wanted to make it pop and very vibrant, very exotic looking, and I think this contrast between the green here in that corner and the blue in that corner is just great. So here is the before and here is my after. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me see what you are saying and some of your comments, because I don't want to neglect you. I can't really watch the comments all the time. Yeah, Jared says, my life is a lie. Look at how you make the water blue. This is something that, yeah, it's not fair, but I do it all the time. The water is normally, it's very green on most of these photos that you see. The before photos are always with greenish tones, and of course nobody wants to upload a green water on Instagram or anywhere else. It just doesn't look that nice. So you always have to change the hue of the greens or the blues a little bit and make it a lot more exotic looking with this turquoise color. And of course you can also play with the temperature, something that I did in this photo as well. So hopefully you like this quick edit that I did for less than 5 minutes. It was even less than that, I think, but yeah, let's go to the next one. And if you guys want me, I can export these photos afterwards and send them to you. If you're the owner of this photo and you want it, please drop me an email and I'll send it to you. If you want to have it for yourself, you can post it on Instagram. It's your photo, so it's my edit, but it's your photo, so it's up to you what you want to do with it afterwards. So let's jump to this edit. As you can see, this is a very, very dark photo, but that's something that I really like because we have preserved, or actually the photographer has preserved all the details in this photo. So that makes it very, very easy to play with it afterwards. It's a RAW photo as well. So as soon as I start increasing the exposure, it starts just working so well already. So we'll get back to the exposure in a second, but let me add some contrast. Let me drop the highlights a bit, not too much, because I want this streak from the water to be visible and still white, not leave it out completely like this. So we'll drop the highlights just a bit. We'll increase the shadows, and already we have so much detail in these rocks. There is a person here. oh, actually 2, and this boat, just perfect moment captured. I will increase the whites a little bit. The thing with these photos is that streak of water that you're seeing after the boat is really cool, and you want to emphasize on it a little bit. So increasing the whites is actually a good idea because it just shows it a bit more. It's a little bit more visible. And we can increase the blacks as well so we have more detail in the photo. Then we can add some clarity, dehaze a little bit, and add some vibrance. And every time I add some vibrance, I try to take away a little bit of saturation, just so it doesn't, like, look at what it's going to be if I add saturation as well. Some of you might think it's fine, but I just don't like too much saturation when I'm adding vibrance. So let me correct these like so. And again, I will add a little bit of blue in the water because it just looks a whole lot better. So I'll brush a little bit of blue here, or actually everywhere. So I'm just using this brush, and I'm just going to go and select this whole section here. Then we'll go to temperature, and we will decrease, actually make it a bit cooler and add a little bit of tint. Let me just play with the slider, see what works, see what doesn't work. So yeah, something like this could be fine. You don't want to make the water too blue because here it starts looking really fake. Although it's a nice blue color, but it starts looking really fake, and I don't like that that look of the photo. So afterwards, we can go here to the HSL. Lower the saturation. Oh, that's the hue, my bad. Actually, let me play with the hue of the blue color, and we can change the blue to something a bit more teal. And aqua, we can also change it accordingly to whatever looks good to us. Something that I would like to have is a bit more detail in these rocks. So I'll paint a little bit of temperature on these rocks, and don't worry about this result right now. As soon as we change the effect to temp, we can only make it a bit warmer or colder if you want to, but I want to make it a bit warmer just so we can have a little bit of contrast between the streak of water from the boat and these rocks. So I want it to be a little bit yellow, just a bit more yellow, and I'll add some clarity. Adding clarity to the rocks makes a huge difference because there is so much detail in these rocks. And we are pretty much done, I think, with this photo. I think I can do a lot more to it, but for now I'm quite happy with this final look of this photo. So here is the before. Again, very dark, but that's very on purpose because you're going to preserve all the highlights and the shadows, and this is my final result. Very simple editing, but I like the color difference, and especially here the depth of the water. You can see how the rocks are just fading away into the water. Really like this. So let me just observe the chat really quickly. Okay, great to see that you guys are enjoying this look. So let's go to the third one, and this one is just insane. It's just great. So many colors, or should I say, so much blue. But yeah, I think it's just a great photo. There really isn't that much that you can do to this photo to make it better. Besides, I personally would love to make this blue a little bit more purple, so I would change the tint a little bit towards the purple. Not too much, of course, but yeah, I'm adding a little bit of purple. I'm going to drop the highlights, and keep in mind this is a JPEG photo, so we can't really go too hard on this photo. This section here is a bit too overexposed, so I will drop the highlights a bit, trying to preserve some detail here in the sky. We can increase the shadows, but I don't really think that's necessary because we have these lighter sections here in the upper part and in the bottom part. It's basically a reflection of the sky, so we don't need to increase those shadows. We actually want them to be dark and have that separation. I'll just add a little bit of, or should I? Yeah, I'll add just a bit of contrast, a bit of clarity as well. Take away some saturation and add some vibrance. And I can do a gradual filter here, and let's see what we can do with this temperature. No, that's not a good look. We can drop the exposure, drop the saturation so it's not that blue, but we can add a little bit of depth by lowering the exposure a little bit, because it's just too white here in the upper portion of the photo. So I'm just going to decrease the exposure a little bit, drop the increase the temperature by only 2, or actually it doesn't really matter because it's only 2, and drop the saturation a bit. So this photo is really elegant, I would say, and it doesn't need that much. The only thing that I changed basically is how bright this upper section over the mountains was. So I think that makes a little bit of difference, and I changed the color of the blue to something a bit more purple-ish. So we can add a little bit more purple if we want to, but it's just going to get too purple for what we need, and I can lower the saturation of the blue a little bit and add some contrast once again, and I think we are done with this photo. So here is the before. As you can see, I'll let you check it out for a second, and here is my version of this photo. I just like this purple tone too much, and I think it looks good on this photo. It looks a bit more soft and a bit better in my opinion. Hopefully you guys like it as well. Yeah, if this photo was a raw photo, it would have been much easier to preserve some details here in the sky and maybe go a bit crazier, but I just don't want to break the photo, because if you keep adding more and more stuff, maybe you can add a little bit more contrast in this section of the sky. You can add a little bit more saturation. You can do so much, but it's going to break the photo as it's JPEG. It doesn't have that much detail. It doesn't have that much data in the photo, so we don't want to go overboard. And personally, with that amount of color in this photo, I prefer to keep it simple. Sometimes less is more. So for that photo, I prefer to keep it like that. Next, we are jumping to this photo of the cathedral in Sofia, our capital city of Bulgaria. And the first thing that I can see, of course, is that it's too dark, but that's the same as this photo that we had previously. That's actually great for all the details that we are going to preserve in this photo. So something that I would do for this one is to crop it for Instagram, because I really think it's going to fit great in a 4x5 format. I'll try to make it completely straight, even though it's not. Let's just see. No, it's a bit hard to see if I think that's okay, but we'll get to that in a second if we need to. So first we'll increase the exposure, of course. And here we have this beautiful cathedral. Lowering the highlights is going to give us all these details here in the sky. Increasing the shadows a little bit. Increasing the clarity. And we already have a massive difference, of course. But something that I would do to this photo to make it really pop. Of course, we have the golden color here, which I need to increase the saturation of. So yellow will increase the saturation a bit. We'll increase the saturation of the green as well, but not too much because it can really ruin the photo. We'll change the hue of the green color, and if we go to this direction, you can see how much it changes here. It looks a little bit muddy and just not good looking, so we'll go the other way, and this looks a whole lot better in my opinion. So yeah, we'll do that. Maybe I will increase the luminance of the green just a bit. And it's great that we only have green in this section. It doesn't really matter for the rest of the photo. And the yellow, we can leave it like so. So something that I would do is actually make this whole cathedral really pop by lowering the exposure of pretty much everything behind this cathedral. So we'll make this, what was it called? This circular filter. I'm not sure. Then we'll go to exposure and lower the exposure. So that's, if I do that, you will see that basically it lowers the exposure of everything that is outside this circle. So I'll just lower the exposure a little bit and lower the saturation as well, just a bit. Now we need to increase the exposure of the whole image so our cathedral looks a bit brighter. And as you can see, I have increased the exposure by 2 stops, which is quite a lot, but still it's fine. Then I'll brush a little bit of clarity here in the ground because I think that will make a difference. Let me just do that with the clarity and increase the exposure. So that's going to just make the image pop in the front. And I'll do a gradual filter here in the sky. Drop the exposure a little bit so the sky is a bit darker. Add a little bit of contrast. And desaturate it a bit so it doesn't really take so much of our attention. Then we can play with the temperature, make it, no, we won't. We'll just leave it like so. And let me just go back to this exposure setting because I can make the whole image a bit darker. And this immediately brings all of our attention to the cathedral. It made pretty much, we made the whole cathedral pop and we made everything else less saturated and less visible by lowering that exposure. So here is the before, here is the after. And I really like the result. It's natural. With a cathedral like this, you don't want to increase the colors and make them too saturated and go with the crazy blues and yellows and stuff. You want to preserve the natural look of the cathedral, or personally that's what I would do. And this is the result once again. Hopefully you guys like it. Yeah, I can make the smokestacks clearer, of course. We can do that. If you want to, we can do that. So let's do that. I got the paint tool. So here we will go to highlights. Add a little bit of, not too much though. Increase the exposure a little bit. These are really small, so it will take a little bit of time, but we can do it, that's for sure. It's not hard to do. And I also need to zoom back because I don't want to make them too visible, but we'll add some clarity, A little bit of contrast. Desaturate a little bit. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it. We have done this little change to the smoke behind the cathedral. And again, here is the before, here is the after. Okay, so yeah, of course, we can straighten the photo a little bit better. I'm not very good at straightening the photos, if I have to be completely honest. Yeah. I just do it by looking at the photo, so sometimes it looks good to me, and in reality it's not that straight. I think this tower is not perfectly straight, so those are little things that of course take a little bit of tweaking, but I will leave it like this for now. So let's get to the next photo because we don't have too much time to play with each photo. Before I do this photo, please let me know once again if everything is going fine with the stream, if it's buffering, if you can hear me, see me well. You know, I'm still early in these streaming stuff, so I don't really know if everything is going according to plan. I don't look at the chat too much, so please let me know if everything is fine so I can continue with this. And wow, my throat is getting really sore and dry by just talking so much. But yeah. All right. Good to know that you guys are seeing me and hearing me well. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is New York, right? Is this the Empire State Building? This has to be, but hopefully I'm not wrong. I don't want to make a fool out of myself, but anyway, I think I have a perfect preset for this photo, and so far for the 4 photos we didn't use any presets, anything like that. I have a couple of presets that I have made, I use on a regular basis. Of course, I tweak them every single time. There's no perfect preset for every photo. So I think I have a preset which is going to be really cool for this photo. I'm not sure which one was it. Oh yeah, this is it. But let's go through all of them. And yeah, DS2. This one is just perfect for a moody picture of this skyline. And let me just tweak it a little bit and show you the end result, because I think this is going to be just great for this photo. It looks really dark, moody, and perfectly goes for the mood that I have when I check this photo out. Hopefully you guys will like the end result. So no, we don't want too much temperature. We actually don't want any temperature here. We want it to almost to be grayscale, almost. At least that's what I want for this photo. So the sky is of course too white, and we'll need to adjust that very quickly. I know not everyone will agree with me that this photo looks great the way I'm going to edit it, but that's of course the beauty of editing. You can edit the way you want it to be and put your own little touch to this photo every time you edit. I have too much vignetting on the photo. And is it straight? I really like this look of just concrete jungle, right? It's just crazy. And I think it fits the photo a lot. The only colors we have are gray. What is that? Dark orange, or is it like is it dark orange? maybe, yeah. I think that's it, and I really like this final result that we achieved. So here is the before. Normal photo, of course, with the blue sky, the blue water and everything. But if we're looking for something dramatic that could look very, very different, I think this is just great. It looks like a poster for a movie or something, or at least it looks great to me. I like having this difference in the photos sometimes, and it's a great breakaway from these four first photos that I edited. So I think it's different, that's for sure. Whether you like it or not, it's different. So why this looks so easy? It's not that hard. I wouldn't really say editing is that hard, because it's all personal preference and it's all up to you. Of course, some people, I'm sure some people will say that they don't like this result. Some day of the week I might not like this result. It's just depending on my current mood and how I feel when I edit the photo. I think that's what makes it great. Batman Dark Knight. Yeah, that's a great comparison. Too unbalanced on the right. We can increase the shadows here because it's a bit darker, but like I said, it will take a bit more time to play with each photo to make it perfect for whatever you want it to be. I don't have that time right now, so let's go to photo number 5. And this is this great sunset taken above this pier, and I really, really like this look. So the thing that you would do to a photo like this is, of course, the pier is too dark, but that's understandable as the sunset is right behind it. The sunset is a bit too bright, so we'll lower the highlights a bit, and immediately we're getting a lot more detail in the sky. I love this little boat here, or yacht. It's just great little addition to the photo. It's like sailing away towards the sunset. Just really cool photo. I will increase the shadows a bit, not too much, because it just looks like a fake HDR photo. But we want it to look balanced. We want to look natural because that's the sunset. So of course, this section of the photo is going to be darker. That's for sure. You can't escape from it, or you can, but it's not going to look very natural. So I will make everything a bit warmer, adjust the tint a bit so it's a bit more purple. You know that I like that. Add a bit of contrast, or actually no, I will take away some contrast. Sometimes it's just great to take away some of that contrast and see the difference, because it gives you the possibility to add some clarity, to dehaze a bit. And I'm going to add a gradient filter once again. Should I do that or not? Let me see. I don't even know what to expect from this photo, so let me see if it's going to work well. If not, we'll just get rid of that. By adding a little bit of blue here, so we're adding a little bit of gradient with colder temperature, we are going to balance the corners a little bit, because here we have more blue, here we have more yellow and orange. I think we can do that. We can leave it like so. And many times I just play with the sliders and just see what happens. It's not a big deal. It's not something complicated. You just play with the sliders, see what happens, and if you like the end result, then that's what matters. You can post it whenever or wherever you want and just enjoy it. That's the point. Okay, we've taken away too much saturation here, to the point that it just doesn't look too good. I will paint a little bit of exposure here So it's a bit brighter still, not too much. I don't want it to be too fake, but here by just adjusting the exposure a little bit and playing with the highlights, we are making a little bit of difference here in the pier, just so we can focus on that section of the photo and focus on all of these people walking during this sunset. So generally, I think this photo looks great as it is. Doesn't look too much, doesn't need too much. Okay, and here is the before, here is the after. Again, very simple compared to the previous one, but with the sunset, I really like to keep it very light and not go overboard with my edits. Still, we have quite a lot of detail here in the water, in the pier. The people are a lot more visible compared to before. This whole section is not as dark as it was. And we have beautiful colors. So that's it for my edit of this photo. Let me know if you guys like it. Looks like real life. That's my point. Sometimes that's my aim for photos like these. This one doesn't look like real life, that's for sure. This one does. And like I said, it all depends on your mood. Next photo we have is this beautiful scene here with the Ferrari 430, if I'm not mistaken, and the Porsche GT2 RS or GT3 RS. You never really know with these Porsches, they all look the same. But I will crop this photo right away because I would prefer to have the composition like so. So the cars are kind of like in the middle of our photo. It is a raw photo, so the first thing I'm going to do is increase the exposure just so I can see a bit more of this whole image. Dropping the highlights and increasing the shadows as usual, adding some clarity. I will decrease the whites a little bit and increase the blacks. Yeah, I like this photo actually very much. I think I'm going to crop it in a way so this cone is not in the shot. Maybe something like this would be okay. So now the green is definitely a huge part of this photo, so I'm going to play with this green color and I'm going to move it to a color like this. So moving the hue of the green just by -40 already makes a huge difference. If I go to 0, you will see it's too green, but it's not in a good way. I prefer this yellowish green, and of course that also affects the color of the car as well. So we are going to paint a little bit on this car, and I will just adjust the color very quickly. So saturation, we'll increase the saturation a little bit, and we can change the tint to this, so it looks a bit more greenish, like so. So now we got the color back. The color of the Porsche is green again. The red could be a bit more saturated, so I will saturate the red a little bit and maybe change it just a bit. No, it's Ferrari red. You are not supposed to change that, actually. My bad. And I will add a little bit of clarity to this section here. So let's do that like so. Increase this little circle. Please keep in mind, all these edits are just on top of my head. I just think it might look good. I'm not sure. I'm just testing these settings out, and I'm just trying to see if it's going to work good or not. Let me paint a little bit of saturation in this sky because I don't want it to be desaturated. I'll return the blue color, make it a bit more blue. I want to make it realistic. I don't want to make it fake. And now we have this natural looking photo of the Ferrari and the Porsche going for a ride together. Here is the before, here is the after. We're just brightening the whole image up, and let me just play with the green a bit more because I think we can do it, we can make it look a bit better. Like so. This portion here, I really like the dirt and how it looks, so I'm going to make it look a bit more appealing by just simply increasing the highlights a bit and adding a little bit of clarity, like so. I think this makes a little bit of difference. So here is the before, here is the after of these two beautiful cars. What are you guys saying? Greetings from Sweden. Greetings to Sweden, right back at you. Thank you for tuning in. As I can see, we have over 50 people watching. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. For now, we have edited seven photos already out of 30, so we're making some progress. I think it's going well. I would love to spend a little bit more time editing these photos so I can make them really, really good, but I think these are good examples of how I would quickly edit a photo so I can make it look good. I would love to spend a bit more time though. So let's go to photo number 8, and we have this beautiful dam. And yeah, the first thing we see is this ice. So this ice, I really want to focus our attention on the ice. I'm not going to crop the photo because I think it looks great. I want to show all the detail in this photo. I don't want to crop it for Instagram because it's just going to crop out this little bridge or whatever. You can crop it like this and keep this exactly in the middle. It's fine, but if it wasn't for this little bridge, now that we have it, I want to see it in the photos. I'll leave it. I'm not going to crop it. But let's see what we can do with this little ice situation because it looks really, really interesting. I want to make it a little bit more blue and point your attention towards that ice. So let me paint over the ice and ooh, looks nice. So I'm playing with the brush size so we can make sure we are covering exactly the details that we want to focus on. And if you want to see what we have painted on, you press on this show selected mask overlay and you see that the red section is what we have painted on. So that's pretty much perfect for the ice. It looks great. Okay, so we are going to increase the exposure of the ice a little bit so it looks more white. Of course, it looks more like ice. We are also going to drop the temperature so it looks a little bit more blue. A little bit of contrast, a little bit of clarity, and we are seeing so much detail in the cracks of the ice and it just looks great in my opinion already. We're going to add a little bit of the haze. Let's see if we saturate it's too blue, so we'll just leave it like so. I am seeing your messages from time to time. So I'm trying to focus on the image, but I just want to talk to you as well. So it's a bit of a complicated dilemma. Let's just drop the luminance of the blue and the aqua a little bit. So increase the whites so everything white is a bit stronger. And I want to play with that color here. I want to make it a bit brighter, a little bit more saturated, but with different hue. A little bit more orange, I would say. So this is kind of like orange and teal, but in a very cold way. So I think it's starting to look really, really nice with the blue of the ice. It might be a bit strong, I have to say. I might desaturate the ice a little bit because it's a bit too blue. The ice is not that blue generally. But I think maybe I'll paint a little bit of exposure here, because it's a bit too dark. We want more details in this section. Of course, this is too much. So yeah, let me just make it a bit warmer by adjusting the temperature. Increase the shadows, not too much. And I want it to be a bit more saturated. Let's go. Let's go. This is starting to look really, really cool. Let me know what you think about this right now, because this is the before and this is the after. As you can see, I have pointed my attention towards the blue and the yellow section of the photo. I increased the saturation and the luminosity of these colors so they are a bit more popped and a bit more in your face. What are you guys saying? You're talking about the Mavic Air. It's a great drone for sure. Jerry, that's exactly right. Let me read it out loud for everyone who is not looking at the chat. JPEG is like a microwave meal and raw photo is like a restaurant. Much better choice, that's for sure. There you go. Well said. Really nice comparison. I feel the same way. JPEGs are fine, but they're going to get you stuffed for a bit, but you're not going to enjoy the meal as much as you're going to enjoy the raw experience, if I can say that. But anyway, let's go to the next one. Here I have another photo, which when I saw it, I was like, okay, I will need to use one of my presets on this photo because it's just great. It looks so nice even before anything being done to it. And I love desert photos. I think they look great. And let me see which preset was that. 2 or 3? It was 2. Yeah, it was 2. This is, I think, the same one that I used for this photo. And the same vibes are, I'm looking for the same vibes when looking at this photo. I'm going to crop it real quick because it looks kind of distorted, kind of like not really good. But we can fix that very quickly. 4x5 for Instagram. This is going to be an Instagram banger if you're asking me, because it just looks so good. Let me see. I might have a little bit of issue with straightening these photos. As you can see, I'm not too good when it comes to straightening them. I think that looks okay, but yeah, okay. First things first, too much vignetting. Let me get rid of some of that. The next thing I want to do right away is make the sand pop, like explode. There we go. A little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, but not too much. And we have this kind of monochrome looking shot that is just insanely good looking. With these shadows here, oh man, that's just great. I'm going to quickly tweak my preset for this photo, and these presets are not working too well for every type of photo. You can see that they are too strong, but that's why I like using them for some photos, of course, not for every photo. Here I really want to make the sky a bit darker, get that moody vibe going on. Desaturated, of course. I like this section to be really dark and gray. I don't like to have, I wouldn't like to have blue sky in this photo. I want to keep it very, very low key, very dark, very moody. And I think this is it. Hold on, hold on, hold on. No, that was too much. Sorry about that. A little bit more saturation though, and we are done. Here is the before. Here is my after. Love this look, to be honest. Just like the skyline, I think the New York skyline, I think it looks good. You might not agree with me, but I personally love this look, and I might even, no, I'll leave it as it is. I'll leave it as it is. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I think this photo is just amazing. I really like it. To whoever sent it to me, thank you for sending it to me. It looks just fantastic. Looks like a book cover. Yeah, I would love to see a book with this cover, to be honest. It looks very, very nice. Well done. I would love to go and fly my FPV drone to a location like this too. Okay guys, we are making some progress. We have another cathedral, and this one is from my hometown, Varna, Bulgaria. I love this place. I'm just very attached to it, of course, as it's my hometown. But we are going to quickly edit this photo because it's a night photo. For night photos, there really isn't that much that you can do to the photo, or at least personally, I don't like doing too much to the photo because it's just not very natural looking to edit night photos. But the first thing you see is, of course, we have too much blue. So the first thing I will do is go and play, where is my HSL? Change the hue of the blue a little bit. First, I will desaturate the blue, actually, just a bit, and immediately we have a better result. Immediately. Before, wow, that was too saturated. For some reason, it applies some type of filter on the image, so the before is not really what I started with, but yeah. Here is our result for now. I will change the hue of the blue so it's a bit more teal, just a little bit. As you can see, -4, not too much. The yellow is not something that we can play with that much because it applies to this section here where the cars are parked and these trees. This was taken around Christmas, I believe, because we have the Christmas decorations on the trees. So the yellow, I can't really change it too much, so I'll just leave it like this. Maybe leave it back to 0 for now. Yeah, leave it to 0. Orange, same goes for orange. You really can't play too much with the orange as it's going to just mess up the whole image, so we don't have a choice here. We can desaturate the orange just a bit so it's not so much in your face, and we can see what we can do with the luminosity of the orange. No, I'm not going to touch that. What about the yellow? Yeah. So I'm going to do the same as I did with the other photo of the cathedral, and that is to lower the exposure of everything besides. As a matter of fact, let me just crop it, it would look so much better when you crop it for Instagram 4x5, like so. Straighten it a bit. I think this looks straight, but hopefully I'm not wrong. Let me just crop it in a way so it doesn't cut the car. If you leave it like so, you will have the car right here in that corner. And it's not a big deal. Not many people will look at that, but I don't like it. So I prefer to crop it in a way so it doesn't really cut too much from anything too visible. So if we do it like so, we're only cropping a little bit of this taxi right here, but hopefully he doesn't mind and you don't even see it. So I don't think it's too straight though. Is it? Is it straight? How do you see it? I think it looks good, but I might be wrong. I was going to decrease the exposure. I already did that a little bit, and I might desaturate. Yeah, desaturate everything besides this circle a little bit, because if we do it like so, it's crazy bad. We only want to do it a little bit so it just points our whole attention to the cathedral. I will add a little bit of, yeah, I've already done that. Clarity is okay. Oh, not this. Dropping the highlights, increasing the shadows. There we go. There is one thing that looks a bit bad to me here in this photo, and that is this little haze behind all these buildings. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. I think you can. So I'm going to paint a little bit of clarity here on these buildings so they don't really take some of your attention, and that's really bad, but it will get it fixed. So clarity. And just adding a little bit of clarity, not too much though, and maybe lowering the exposure. There we go. There we go. Lowering the highlights should work as well. Lowering the shadows. No, I'm not going to lower the shadows actually. You see how this section actually was a bit, you know, in your face when you are looking behind the cathedral. And now I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it looks a bit better. It doesn't take away some of your attention because it's just a bit lighter and whiter than the rest of the image. So this is the before. Again, I don't know why it's so saturated. I'm sorry about that. The original photo was not so saturated, but yeah, before, after. I don't know why I cannot show you the real before, but yeah. I like it. I think it looks great. It looks natural as a church. Next, we have this photo of this surfer, and I'm really excited about this photo because it looks fantastic in my opinion with the waves. It is a bit blurry here. It is a bit blurry, I have to say, but the result is great. So I'm going to quickly play with this photo so I can make it really, really good. Take a look at this. Adding a little bit of contrast, lowering the highlights and increasing the shadows already makes a massive difference. The green though, the green is not something that I love seeing. So should I wait, let me see if I adjust the hue of the green. Nothing happens. Okay, nothing happens. I'm going to paint over this photo, and I'm going to make, I'm going to make this green look a bit more blue. You know how it is. So temp. Let me add a little bit more to that. No, we don't want any brush strokes over these portions of the photo, only where we have clear water. So lowering the temperature and adjusting the tint a little bit could do the job. But here we have, I'll drop the flow and delete some of these sections here that are too strong, because they are obviously too blue, and that will bring some of that green color behind. It will bring it back, but it will allow us to remain with that great looking blue. My Lightroom is starting to act up. Let me just wait for a second. What's going on with the camera? Can you guys see me? What's up with the camera? Shit. Let me check my camera real quick. Sorry about that. Technical issues. Are we back? Maybe it was overheating. Yeah, maybe. Now it's here. Let me just quickly see if everything is fine with the camera. Yeah, it was overheating. Sorry about that. It was overheating. It says on the camera. Sorry about that. Hopefully things will be better now, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on the camera. And you let me know if something happens, because I don't know. Oh, where was I? I'll increase the whites because that is going to make the waves a bit more visible. But I don't like this. The paint that I did is not very good. I'm just going to take away some of. Shit. I'm just going to take away some of that color that I added to this photo. Well, that completely messed me up with this camera, and my Lightroom is a bit slow now. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, moving on. Let me just delete this because I don't like this brush that I did, and I'm going to do it once again all over real quick. Now I'll be looking at the camera all the time, checking if it's running fine or not. But yeah, first time streaming for so long, I believe more than 1 hour, so of course it's going to overheat at some point. Now this is too blue, of course, especially here where the waves are crashing. You can see that it's too blue, so we'll fix that by adjusting the temperature, maybe changing the tint a bit. And I'm going to paint a little bit of white on these waves because adding a little bit of exposure in a couple of places can really make a huge difference. And I'm going to add exposure. Just increase the exposure and increase the whites. Just a bit, but I think I overdid it a bit. But let's see. Let's see before, after. We have that nice looking blue. We got rid of the green. And one thing that we can do is actually put a little bit of emphasis on the surfer himself. And we can do that by adjusting the exposure just a bit and increasing the highlights and the shadows as well. Let me see how that looks. Yeah, that looks much better because now you can actually see him a bit easier in the photo and spot him. And actually, I think I will crop that for Instagram as well. Something like so. And I'm even going to do this filter once again, just a little bit of exposure, which I'm going to increase. And I'll do the same on the opposite angle, and I'll decrease the exposure. Like so. So here is the before, here is the after. Hopefully you guys like it, and I think it looks great. So let me take a little bit of a break because I've been editing, I think, for more than 1 hour straight, and let me just talk to you for a second. What are you guys saying? Water cool your camera. Shit, it's back again. Damn it, my camera is just overheating too much, guys. What are you guys saying if I turn it off for a bit? I'm going to turn it off for a bit. We'll continue streaming, and let me just quickly, sorry about this. How about now? Now you're not going to be able to see me, but that's fine because you will still hear me. And in a few minutes, I'll turn the camera back on because, you know, the camera just overheats too much. I know you guys are not too crazy about seeing me anyway, so that's fine. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Here we have this beautiful image of these mountains and the water and this bridge. Looks sick. Looks absolutely sick. I love it. Let's see any of my presets if they are going to do any good to this photo. I like this one, to be honest, and I might go ahead and use it. Even though it says snowy, I use it for all sorts of different images. Yeah, I think the snowy one could work. Yeah, I'm going to use this one because of those yellow colors here, the yellowish tones here under the mountains. They look great, but I don't like the sky. So we will have to start with the sky first, and let me paint over the sky, and hopefully we can bring it back. It's a raw photo, so hopefully we can work with that. Adding some contrast, lowering the exposure a bit, lowering the highlights all the way down. And yeah, we have a sky. It's not a very beautiful sky. This section of the sky is actually great. This is a bit more cloudy and just white clouds, which don't look too nice, but we can make it work. By adding a little bit of dehaze to the sky, it makes it a lot more blue. So you can remember that and use it for your photos. It makes a massive difference. I just love the look of that. The sky is great now. I would say this is not very good here. So maybe the dehaze was not perfect for this section. So let's just turn the dehaze off, and I'll paint a new portion of the dehaze only for this. Wait a second. Dehaze only for the right side of the sky. There we go. A little bit less clarity here is actually good. And less contrast, so it doesn't look too fake. Alright, so we're actually doing something for this photo already, as you can see. I like it a lot, and I'm going to continue painting a little bit. I'm going to make a little brush stroke. I cannot even speak anymore. I'm going to do that here, here, here. Don't look at this blue color. It's going to go away in a second. So this section here, we are going to increase the exposure of this slightly. This is too much. Increase the highlights a bit. No, shadows are staying as they are. Add a little bit of clarity and drop the exposure a bit, because once you add clarity, it also works with the exposure. So, and yeah, the highlights are going down a bit too. So this is something that points your attention towards these mountains here. It shows you some light, some depth, some detail, and I like that. So of course we have the green of the water, which we need to adjust. So the green here doesn't move at all, so it doesn't do anything for our photo. So the aqua is probably the color we need to adjust, and we're not going to adjust it too much. Yeah, I know this is going to reflect on the whole image. I just want to see how it's going to work on the water. But let's leave it like so, and I'll quickly paint over the water so we make it a bit more blue. Just a bit though. Nothing crazy or too fancy. And my Lightroom is already acting up. It's yeah, my whole computer is slowing down a bit. I don't think I have the power for everything I want to do, but we're still going strong, so that's the only thing that matters. Until my computer starts smoking, I will continue streaming. So we have selected the water. Obviously the temperature is too cold, but we can adjust the tint. Let's make it a bit darker. I think making it darker will make a great difference. We already start seeing results, as you can see. Just play with all these sliders and see what happens. That's my motto. Okay, but I need to add a little bit of this color right here as well, because it's just not working for the whole section of the water. And here as well. I see that this is a bit brighter, but I'm not going to deal with it right now. I don't think it's necessary, to be honest. We can increase the saturation a bit, see how it works. It's a matter of fine-tuning this image. I'm trying to make it look similar to the sky, to be honest. That's my plan. Let's see what's going to work best. I think this is it. I think this is how I would leave this photo for now. This is the before. Very, very different, I would say. And this is the after. And check out, especially here, the difference where we painted some light on the mountain. Check out what difference it makes. Once again, beautiful photo. It doesn't even need that much work, or any work to be honest, to make it look great. Straight away, it looks fire, to be honest. I love it. But with a little bit of adjustments, which I did, I think it looks fine. So hopefully you guys like it as well. Okay, let's go to the next one. And the next one is really an image which doesn't need almost anything, or I wouldn't even say it needs anything at all, because it's just so colorful, so saturated, so good looking. These salt fields, or I'm not sure how they are called in English, but yeah, tons of salt, and they are always great with this pink color, and the contrast between the pink and the blue, just perfect. So what I would do, I would just, this is a JPEG image once again. I want to emphasize on that. I'm not going to crop it, or let me just see what's going to happen if I crop it. But if I crop it like so, I want all the salt to be visible in the photo. At the same time, I want this to be visible. So 4:5 doesn't work here. No, it just doesn't work. I want to see all of it. I want to see all of it. So I will leave it as it is, and I'll just do something very, very minor, extremely minor, nothing that special. I will increase the saturation of the pink because it looks great. Not too much though. We don't want to make it like this. And check this out. Because it's a JPEG, check out these artifacts and everything. It just breaks the whole image. So that's why I wanted you guys to send me as many raw photos as possible so we can avoid this issue. But I think this already looks great. Adjusting this color, sorry about that. Adjusting this color can also be great. But I will desaturate the blue a bit because it's just too saturated, too blue. And I really don't think we need anything else, to be honest. This photo is just too colorful, too great to be tweaked too much. I will just leave it like this. Almost nothing that I did, to be honest. Besides the blue, which here is too dark blue, and I always prefer to keep it in the teal, more like teal color. So that's basically the only thing I really did. And of course, a little bit more contrast and saturation in the pink. So there you go, that's it. So let's go to the next one. Let's see how many photos we have already edited. These 13. Wow, we have a lot more to go, so I need to speed up my editing process. I am rambling a lot, I think. And hopefully you guys are not bored by watching this live stream yet. So let's see. This is actually a stitched photo out of a couple, I suppose. A panorama that has been stitched automatically, and I really like this. I really love this shot. Looks just beautiful. So we are going to crop it and just, I'm wondering if I should leave it like this. To be honest, I don't like, let me increase the exposure so I can show you. I don't like these buildings here. The whole vibe of the photo changes as soon as you see some real buildings, because it looks like you're on a lonely island and then you see actual buildings, and yeah, I'm not really enjoying this. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like this, even though I'm not really a huge fan of these buildings. I might just crop it like so, so it's right until the edge of this little mountain or an island. So I'm just going to leave it like so. Hopefully not many people will take a look at this this section here with the buildings. So let's start. I think this is around sunrise and it looks gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. I will just make it a bit more yellow, the whole thing. And there's really not too much that you can do to this photo. It looks so crazy good. The one thing that I want to do is maybe introduce a little bit of detail in the sky because it's too bright. So I'll just lower the highlights. Let me just do that real quick. Drop the exposure slightly. Drop the highlights. Dehaze a little bit, so it kind of makes this gradient color, but I don't want to have this too much. Like so. Okay, we're going well for now. I'm going to paint a little bit of clarity here on these rocks because the sun is actually falling exactly on these rocks. This is where it shines the most, and this is our person of interest. So let me add a little bit of clarity, which is right about here. We'll add a little bit of saturation and remove some of that dehaze, and immediately it pops up and creates a bit of a layering here between the front of the image and the back. You see this has so much more detail than the back of the image, the background. So it looks great in my opinion. I'm going to change the green a little bit. I think we lost the stream for a bit. I got some buffering issues from what I saw. Maybe you guys lost connection, or actually maybe I lost connection for a bit. I think now is a great time to do a small break. I will be back in like 2 or 3 minutes and we'll continue. I'll let my computer stay for like 2 minutes, and I'll be back in like two minutes to continue with the next photo, which we have right here. This is the photo that we'll be editing as soon as I get back in 2 minutes. Okay guys, can you please let me know if everything is good? Leaf or Life, I suppose Leaf. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. This is your photo. Yes, that's Norway, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's Norway, that's for sure. So should I try with my camera once again, or let's leave my camera off for a bit. maybe I'll take a little break in a couple of minutes once again to talk to you, but for now let's just continue with the editing because we have a lot more to do, a lot more photos to go through. I actually think this first preset that I have is just perfect for this photo. My beach top-down preset. I think I'm gonna use that and I'll tweak it a little bit, but it looks perfect already. I mean, the photo is just incredible. This place looks amazing. And one thing that I would like to do is this water needs a little bit of contrast. So I will just add a little bit of contrast. I might add a little bit of blue to the water. Not too much though, not like it is right now, because this is too much. But this looks great, to be honest. I would just leave it like so and add a little bit of contrast in the water. Like this. The next thing which I will do is to paint some clarity here in these rocks or mountains, big rocks, as they are also called. It's so annoying that it immediately goes to temp. I want clarity. So a little bit of clarity here and there, and we are all good. This photo is amazing as it is. So here is the before. Here is the after. A little bit more blue in the water and a little bit more detail in the rocks here in the mountain. The yellow color, wow, I cannot even speak. The yellow color is replacing the green, which was found here. It's a bit too much, I would say. Let me quickly adjust that. I don't want to leave it like so. I want to make it perfect. Green. Wow, my computer is frying right now. Okay, okay, that's the orange. You know what? I can accept this little defeat and I'll leave it like so. I don't want to I don't want to keep messing up the photo because I am starting to have really serious issues with my computer and I really want to finish this stream. So I prefer to move on to the next photo. This one is really cool. Beach top down preset would work perfect for this. But of course we need to adjust the exposure and the highlights. I will desaturate the photo a bit. Change the luminosity of the whites. Increase the blacks a little bit. The haze. I think this guy is the same from this photo. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. Isn't it? It might be him. Looks similar. That's for sure. And we'll change the temperature of the photo because it's a bit too warm. Something like this. And I would have loved if this photo was taken maybe a bit higher. Maybe 20 more meters of altitude would have been just perfect for this photo. But anyway, I think this is a massive difference anyway. Not really a massive difference, but yeah, change of colors a little bit. Here we have change of the green more towards the blue. if I use my preset turquoise waters, I can actually see a bit of difference, and I like that, but it needs a little bit of tweaking again. And this is a raw file, which makes it a whole lot better. We have too much white in this, of course, from the snow of the mountains, so we need to be careful about that. And yeah, for now things look great. I think the blue color of the water could be a bit better though. So I'll quickly paint over it and change that. Add a little bit of contrast. Take some of the highlights away. And is that ice in the water? I suppose it is. I'm going to make it a bit darker. Take away some of that clarity. And as for the green, I want to increase the luminance of the green, which is already almost to the max. I want to increase the saturation too. Not that we have too much green, but... And let me change the hue of the green. You can see these little trees here. Very simple edit, but this is the before, this is the after. Almost no difference, I would say. Almost no difference, but yeah. I like this photo even without any edits. So now we have this top-down photo of this beach. JPEG photo, but I like this yellow thing in the water. And the only thing I would do to this photo, to be honest, is make this whole sand and the people on it a bit warmer, because the sand looks a bit too white. I know there are lots of beaches with white sand, but personally I prefer a bit warmer tones for the sand, so it gives you a bit, you know, you feel better about the whole image when you look at the sand, and it's just goes well with the water, in my opinion. We will do as we always do. I will add a gradual filter here that is going to be darker, because I like these rocks, and the darkness of these rocks can be just solidified a bit by adding this gradient. Then we'll just increase the vibrance a little bit, take away some of that saturation. The yellow is a bit too saturated right now, so we'll just slightly desaturate the yellow, very slightly. And we're pretty much done with this photo. As a matter of fact, let me just quickly paint over this section, because it's, again, a bit too white. These rocks and the sand, a bit too white for my liking. So we can quickly do that, lower the exposure a bit. And now you see this actually makes a little bit of interesting difference, right? I love that. Great place for a beach, I have to say. Now let me just quickly change the green here. Like so. And here is the before, here is the after. I love this little section of the photo too. These people are enjoying their day so much. I envy them so much right now. Yeah. Croatia, is that it? Croatia looks like the bomb. It's just great. Let's check out this next photo of this lighthouse. And for this photo, let me just quickly go through my presets. It gives me a little bit of inspiration when I'm checking out photos and I'm wondering what I want to do to them. Sometimes just going through, ooh, this one is nice. Going through the presets just gives me a couple of ideas. I'm not going to use any preset. This is a raw photo, probably taken around sunrise. It looks stunning, just stunning. So I'm going to try to emphasize on this sunrise or sunset or whatever it is. And take a look at that. It's already, maybe I will need to adjust it a little bit. Yeah, I'll just leave it like so. So I want to introduce some warmth into the photo, because obviously it's taken around sunrise or sunset, and I want to emphasize that. Okay, more vibrance. This looks great. Honestly, I need to fix that horizon though. Does auto work for you guys? It almost never works for me. I think that's pretty straight, although this tower doesn't look perfectly straight now. So the distortion sometimes could be fixed by applying a profile. I think this could be taken on Mavic or Inspire, Phantom. Sometimes it fixes the, oh yeah, I think it did now. Yeah, the horizon is not perfectly straight, but yeah, I think that looks good. So yeah, this looks great now, and I'm just going to play with the highlights and the shadows a bit. So I'm perfectly happy with how this looks. And we need to go to the HSL tab once again. And here we will actually change a little bit the color of the water, as always. You know it already. There isn't too much color in the water here, so we're just going to pretty much only do these two sections here. And we have quite a lot of dramatic colors in this photo. Something which I want to do with this sky here is to add a little bit of contrast and clarity as well, and sharpness too. I know that this is overexposed, obviously, but I really like this. I'm almost looking for, if I have to, if the photo was mine and I had to upload it somewhere, I would put a lens flare here, exactly here, so it matches the light and it looks like you're shooting directly at the sun. The only thing this photo needs, in my opinion right now, is a lens flare, so it looks like a perfect sunrise or sunset. So here is the before. Looks pretty dark and boring in my opinion. And here we have, yeah, maybe it's a bit too strong, this whole contrast idea that I had, but yeah, that's the final result for now. Hopefully you guys like it. And let's go to the next one. We have water once again, and I remember this email was sent to me by a guy who really wanted to see what I can do with this photo. And honestly, there isn't too much that I can do to it, besides using my preset on it, because I think this photo is orange and teal heaven. It doesn't need too much, and orange is a bit too strong here, so I need to lower the saturation of the orange a bit. But orange and teal is just such a nice combination of colors. Obviously, it's the go-to color palette for many people, and it's one of my favorite ones as well. So here it is, and I think I need a little bit more of that saturation back. Golden hour epic shot. Took me 1 minute to do this, but it even doesn't need this. It doesn't need anything. You can post it as it is, and it's great. Lovely photo of these rocks and the waves. And waves and rocks are one of my favorite things to shoot, honestly. They're just great every single time. And they're different as well. So here we have the next one, which is, I don't know, maybe it's a church, or I think it might be a church. Is it? It could be anything. Looks official though. Anyway, if you guys, the guy who sent me this photo, if you're here in the chat, please let me know if this is a church or if you have any idea what it is. But it looks great, and I'm just going to, let me see if I can crop it, because it has all the leading lines are here, and it would have been just a bit better if you have positioned your drone a bit more to the left, because here now you are a bit more to the right. If you were just straight with this line between the middle section of the building, the fountain here, and the stairs, it would have been absolutely perfect. Not that it's bad right now, it's great, but it could have been a bit better if you were just straight in front of this building. And it's a bit, wait, is it? Yeah, it's not completely straight. I think now it could be a bit better. Okay, looks great. This place looks just, I would love to shoot with my drone here. We have quite a lot of shadows here. As you can see, these trees make a lot of shadow, so we have to increase the shadows, and I might even have to increase the exposure by a little bit, so we can introduce some of these some of the brightness back into the shot. Now let's continue with this. Clarity up by 25. I think I need to reposition this a little bit, like so, even though I'm cutting this tree. But the important thing in this photo is, of course, the church or the house or whatever it is. The building is important, so we'll keep it like this. I will change the hue of the green. Let's make a little S-curve. Like so. We need, yeah, it's too saturated right now. We might need to desaturate by -5. That looks great. Sharpening, we already have that. Oh yes, let me change that green to something a bit yellowish. There we go. I really think this is starting to get really good. Let me play with the luminance of these colors because it really makes a difference. Yeah, we're going for that little moody, cinematic, movie-like look. This looks straight out of a movie, in my opinion. Looks great. This place is just amazing. Please let me know where it is. I really would like to know. And let's do a little bit of split toning. I might have to do a tutorial on split toning because I really don't know. I really don't know how to explain it. I would like to be able to explain it better. For now, I'll just stay silent. I don't want to say the wrong thing and confuse you guys even more. But wow, I really like this. Yeah, Disney movie. Yeah, that you're right on the money with this Disney movie. That's for sure. Looks just great. So here is the before, and I would really love to play more with this photo as it's just really, really cool. Here is the before, here is the after, and I don't feel like I'm done, but yeah, we need to continue moving. But yeah, let me do it once again. Before, after. I really like the yellowish tones in the shot. Hopefully you guys like them as well. Let's go to the next one. So we have 9 photos left, and I'll try to not take more than 30 minutes from your time, counting from now on, because nobody wants to look to watch a stream that is too long, right? So oh, sorry about that. I will use this beach top-down preset on this photo, I think. Or should I? Let me just go through my other presets. This one is really orange and teal. You can tell. I like this one as well, although obviously it needs a lot of work. I like this one as well. For this photo, we might go with... I'm going with this one, and I'll fix it because now obviously it's too blue. So let me just quickly increase the overall exposure of this shot and start fixing what I have just broken with my preset, but that's not a problem. It's a raw file as well, so that works great. Take a look at these mountains right here, and the sky. This looks like a plane, or is it me, or it looks like a plane? We will desaturate. No, we'll actually keep this as it is, and now we'll desaturate the orange, the yellow a bit, the blue, or actually the aqua. It's better if we desaturate the aqua and leave the blue as it is, or maybe even increase the saturation of the blue a bit. Now we need to do something about these green. Let me check out. Yeah, the green trees. We need to do something about them. I want more saturation in them, and we need to fix that hue. Oh my god, my computer is getting slower by the minute. I will paint a little bit of saturation over these trees. Maybe you see how slow my computer has become, but I want to thank you for still sticking with me and continuing to watch this stream. Let's check this out. Now we're getting some of that green back, and yeah, I like that, but we definitely need to adjust our overlay mask because now it's just not very good. But I will quickly do it. It probably won't be the best, but you guys will get the point, and that's what really matters in this case. Obviously, this takes a lot longer if you want to really do it properly. And I would love to show you more, but I think this one works well. These green trees now are looking better and better. All right. Let me just see, -6. I need to lower the temperature just a bit so I can make them a bit greener, and now it actually looks really good. I love the contrast between the sky and the mountains here. And let me just very slightly, oh, no, I don't want that. Let me try again. Very slightly, I want to add a graduated filter which has a little bit of negative exposure, but just a bit, just so it has that dark edge that you can see at the top of the image. I think that looks fine. And there we go. I think I'll leave it as it is. It looks like a postcard. I'm really happy with this photo. Leo says, Mike, will we share the photos? I will share the photos with the owners of these photos. If they contact me by email, if they request these photos, I will, of course, send them to them so they can do whatever they want with them, maybe post them, or just use them for whatever they like, because like I said earlier, these are their photos. with just a little bit of my editing on them. But yeah, whoever wants these photos and whoever is the owner of these photos and wants them for themselves, please let me know. Send me an email. You already have my email if you have sent me these photos. Send me an email. I will be very glad to send them back to you. But please give me a few hours, because I might do it tomorrow, because I'm pretty tired already from this stream. I have to be completely honest. It's a new experience for me as well. Okay, let's continue with this. I have this beach top down, which I don't know. I'm not going to use a preset. I've been using too many presets for the last couple of photos, so let's not do that. This is a raw photo. Let's check it out. Okay, this is going to look great. This is definitely going to look great. And many of you guys seem to really know how to shoot properly. I mean, many of these photos are taken during the golden hour, or, you know, in a good lighting condition generally. So you seem to be aware what to do, what not to do. And I'm glad to see that, because I was expecting, honestly, I was not expecting to get that many good photos. I was expecting to get maybe a few good ones and a few more mediocre ones, but I was blown away. So many good photos were left not used for this live stream, and I have to say, you guys are really, really good, which is great, because it means that all the tutorials and stuff that I've been working on for the past couple of years, if you guys have been watching, that's for sure. If you have been watching these tutorials, it seems that you have learned the things that are important. So, not that I'm taking all the responsibility for your success, no. But anyway, I'm rambling too much. I was just happy to see so many good photos. That's it. Sometimes it's better to shut up and edit. I will add a little bit of vignetting here, and a bit of clarity on the rocks. Yeah, we pretty much gave a bit of life to this photo by just increasing the shadows and the details in these rocks. So yeah, that's it. Before, after, you see the result. Let's get to this next one. So we have this field, which is really cool. Unfortunately, about this photo, there is something that I see immediately, and that is the fact that the sky is too blown out. It is just extremely white, and even if we drop the highlights, if my computer allows me to do that, and drop the exposure, oh, sorry about that. If we drop the highlights, you see it's still too white. Yeah, this thing here, it's a broken image right here. So unfortunately, we cannot save it. There's nothing that I can do to save this sky, but we still have some details here. Maybe here it would be a good place to add a flare, a sun flare, or something like that, but I personally don't think anything can be done to save this image completely. But anyway, it's a beautiful place, beautiful image, so we can, looks a bit better than, yeah, it needs to be, never mind, needs to be a bit yellow. This, and speaking about warmth, we will also do a graduated filter here with some warmth, some contrast. We will try to lower that saturation just a bit, even though this is completely blown out. Like I said, there is nothing that we can do. I'll add some clarity to make these mountains pop a bit. And I'm really sorry about this image. I mean, it's a good way to demonstrate what a broken JPEG looks like because of the fact that it's JPEG. If this was RAW, I'm sure it would have been a lot easier to save this because all the image is properly exposed besides this section here. But yeah, I really like this image. That's why I selected it, even though it has this blown out portion. I wanted to show you that if you have the chance to shoot in RAW, you always need to do that. It's just going to give you so much freedom afterwards. And something that I see is also in the shadows here, they are almost unsavable. These dark sections here in the trees. I don't want to increase the shadows that much. So I'll try to leave it as it is. Sometimes you have to know how much you can push an image, and this is as much as I would push it, this one. I don't want to do anything else on it because it's just not worth breaking the image even more than it is. Like I said, I love the shot. That's why I decided to use it. I just wanted to let you know that unfortunately it is a bit broken here in this part. Next, we have my friend Paul's image, and it's taken with the Mini, if I'm not mistaken. So I really like the foggy surroundings of this place. Maybe I see him in the chat. Maybe he can say a few more things about the photo because I would be interested to know a bit more about it. But it looks great. So I'm going to add this beach top down preset because it transforms the image a little bit. It makes it a bit more moody, even more than it is. And it's again in the orange and teal color scheme. So I think this makes the whole image a bit more spooky and moody. Okay, so I see it's taken in Germany. That's great. And I just love the look of this place. I'm sure it's a lot of fun to fly around there. So as this is JPEG, once again, I don't want to repeat the same stuff, but as this is JPEG, I don't want to do too much to the photo. I see that the fog here is really visible, so it's a great thing that the dynamic range of the Mini actually allowed you to capture some detail here in the trees and also capture the fog itself, because otherwise this could have been just one huge white mess, and I just love the little separation that we have. So I'm just going to even use the dehaze, but in a backwards way, so we can introduce a little bit more fog into the shot and maybe a little bit more vibrance. And I think this looks perfect because it has the detail. You can see the forest behind. It shows you the trees. I don't want to increase the clarity too much because we have fog, so it's supposed to be foggy. I just wanted to introduce a little bit more vibrance in the colors, and it's a little edit, but it changes mostly the tones of the green and the yellow. So this is the before, this is the after, and yeah, I think it looks great. I think it looks great even before that. The only thing I love changing is that green color, so it looks more, more cinematic in a way. So we have that, and next we have another friend of mine, Tavi, her photo from Australia. And this shark, as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, you know, this is pretty incredible. This shark. And you guys down in Australia have this amazing chance of seeing these great animals, dolphins, and all sorts of sharks, and all sorts of other water animals that I keep seeing from Australian Instagram profiles, and I'm so amazed that you guys are able to capture photos like these. I honestly love this shot without even touching it. But while preparing for this live stream, I came across, this preset. Oh, I was like, okay, this is dramatic. This is really dramatic, but it's you know, it's something that I would actually use and maybe post on Instagram. It looks really dramatic, of course, because of all that vignetting, but isn't it amazing? Please let me know. Is it just me, or that's just, I know it's too much, but I think it's great. I really think it's just not that much that I would change on this photo besides the little tweaks that I'm doing right now. So I think I would leave it like this because of that blue color and because of that separation and because of the shape, and it looks like a shadow, and I'm going to leave it like this. I don't know. I love it. And for a second I thought these are actually people. I thought these are divers here, but yeah, that would have been scary. So yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. Tavi, you are in the chat, so let me know if you like it. Oh, you already told me. Okay. Good to know that you like it. I'm going to send it to you if you like. I might crop it for Instagram just so it's ready to be posted. Look at this. Looks like it was taken on another planet. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but I like it, and hopefully you do as well. So here is the before. Once again, stunning shot. And here is the after. So moving on, if you guys are ready to move on, we have another landmark, which I believe is a cathedral or a church, something like that. So the first thing, of course, I will do is crop it because we have all the leading lines, and I think it could have been shot a bit better if the drone was a bit behind, so maybe a few meters behind, so you can capture a little bit of detail here in this part of the photo, so we can crop it perfectly and have all of that symmetry, but we can still make it work. And let me see if I can make it straight. I think that's, I'm not even saying what I'm doing anymore because I'm sure you guys already know what I'm doing. Of course, if you're willing to put in more time and work and learn a few tips and tricks about Lightroom, you can make a photo so much better. But for now, I'm quite happy with the edits that I'm doing, even though they are a bit rushed, and we'll go through all of them as soon as I go through all the images. We'll go back to number 1 and we'll go through all the before and after, so you can see the difference in all the edits if you have missed them. If you're still watching, I want to thank you because it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes since I started streaming. It's been exhausting, let me tell you, for my brain mostly, because when I'm editing, I never speak. So now this is completely new. Yeah, I don't want to embarrass myself, but I feel like I almost did a couple of times today by doing stupid things because I cannot think and speak at the same time. Anyway, I'm sure you guys are having fun if you're still watching. Okay, so I want to really decrease the exposure of everything besides this, because this is the only thing that matters in this photo. If we had all these leading lines, if they were visible, I wouldn't have lowered the exposure, but since we don't, and we only have them on one side, and we don't have a good look on the fence and the rest of the parts that make this photo really symmetric, I think it's better to not pay attention to them and only pay attention to what really matters, which is the building itself. So here it is. Hopefully you guys like this edit. Next we have this section, this photo. I'm full of sections already. Yeah, this wind generator looks great. I have a little bit of fear about this photo, even though it's raw, because this part of the image is completely dark. It's too dark. So I don't know if we'll be able to do anything about it, but we'll try. Sorry about that. We can lower the highlights to start with to bring back some details in the sky. We can increase the shadows, and as you can see, we don't have a lot of detail, even though I'm going to keep it like this. The whole image is not very clear. We'll add a lot of clarity to try to fix this. We'll add some vibrance. And I know this is not completely straight. I mean, I will try. No, never use auto. I will try to straighten it according to the wind generator, windmill, whatever you want to call it. I will try to make it straight, or at least this thing to be straight. Hopefully now it is, but you never really know. I'm not too good at this, and I don't like the fact that this is sticking in the photo, so I'm going to actually cut it out. Where is the end of it? And it's a bit tricky because you want to keep this in the middle of the photo without this being visible. I think I would move it a bit like this, so we're getting rid of a little bit of this section that is too dark. So it's a little trick to get away of the things that you don't want to see too much. Just cut them out. Just like the bad people in your life. Just cut them out. Okay. Adding a little bit of dehaze we can try to fix the lack of detail here, but this is definitely too dark. This section here is too dark. The whole image is great, but I don't think the right settings have been used to shoot this photo, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. Let's play with the highlights a bit. I might increase the light here a bit. All right, I think this, even though it's a raw photo, is not really. We're not going to be able to push it too much. Let me add a little bit of tint, because this photo has all sorts of colors, from blue to yellow to green to purple, all sorts of colors. So I would like to add a little bit of tint that will make the purple a bit more visible. And you see how noisy it is, this photo. And it has been shot with ISO 100, f8. That's the issue here, f8. If that's Mavic 2, f8 is not very sharp. So that could be the reason why. But anyway, we have to work with what we have. So it is what it is. I'm breaking the image here while I'm trying to increase the light of these colors. So it's not really possible to do it. You see, check it out. It's completely broken. This is how a broken RAW photo looks like, unfortunately. So I can't push it too much, even though it's a great photo, really great. Just the settings were not the perfect ones for this photo, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think maybe that was the issue here. So I think I'll leave it like this. We have a little bit of dramatic color movement and dramatic color change actually from this side to this side. So here we have more yellow and green. Here we have more blue and purple. I like that little separation between the two. Here is the before. Here is the after. Next we have another sunset, which yeah, let's start with the fresh photo. Here we have it, and let's see if we increase the shadows a bit. We don't want to increase them all the way because it's not realistic. In a case of sunset, you never see everything. I don't want to drag the highlights too much. I will drag them down by -13. I think this is fine for now. A little bit of clarity. This dehaze, we'll need to be extra careful with this, because if we do it too much, or actually let me just demonstrate, if we do too much clarity as well, check out this little line that is being created behind the mountain, and you don't want that. You never want that. So this is a sign of too much clarity, so we need to lower the clarity so we can get rid of that little light leak that we have behind the mountain. And it's a dangerous thing to do, and sometimes you don't really notice it, but you have to try to escape from it. So I really like the sky here, really love it. So I would try to add a little bit of contrast. Where is the contrast? I don't see it. A little bit of contrast, a little bit of exposure as well, so it's a bit brighter. Not too much though, that is a bit too much. So the thing is, as most of the image is too dark, we can really try to separate the sky from all this darkness by adjusting the light in the sky a little bit at least. So that will allow us to have a little bit more contrast between the two. And I think it's just going to make the whole image a bit better in that regard. And I really like this being so yellow from the sun. I'm going to slightly increase the exposure of this building, and I might as well do that for not for these, for these buildings that are being highlighted by the sun. We can afford to do that. Just highlight them a bit more because of that sun. and it doesn't look fake, it still looks realistic. And we can slightly adjust the tint of this whole image, not too much. And I will go back so I can adjust the tint of the graduated filter, which I have right here. I'm going to use it so it's a bit more purple. Or actually, no, it doesn't work that well for this. So I'm going to brush a little bit, this section only. Let me show you which one. This. And by pressing Alt on your keyboard, you can delete some of that selection, which is really handy when you're using a big brush. You are never too good with that brush. You're never too precise. Okay, my computer is officially fried. I need to wait a bit because it's still loading. Also, my flow is set to to a very low value, so that was my bad. Okay. Now, with this section of the paint brush, just go to tint and just make it like so. I think 25 is good. Let's see the other values, something a bit higher. Sorry about that, my mouse stopped working. Oh my god. Seriously. Okay, it's back. Is it? Okay, it's back. It's here. I fixed it. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this. I don't have time to risk it, but this is the edit. Hopefully you guys like it. This is the before. This is the after. The mouse is back. Don't worry. The mouse is back online. And now we have our final photo of today's live stream. 2.5 hours later, if you're still watching, you must be a hero. Because I don't know how you did that, really. If you have watched the whole stream, you deserve an award. I'm going to crop this because it's just, why not? It looks like it has to be posted on Instagram. By the way, very cool structure. I don't know, it's a JPEG, and I have my preset. No, which one was it? No, I'm not going to use a preset for the last one. I am not going to. I'm just going to do something very minor to this image, as it really looks great, but orange and teal it is. I'm going to go for that orange and teal look, and I'm going to change the saturation of the yellow. There you go. Look at this grass. Looks great. We need to change the green as well. No, not the saturation, my bad. We need to change the hue of the green like so. And we can even increase the saturation of the green because it doesn't really make it any worse. It makes it even better. So now we can adjust the saturation of the orange. Not too much though. There we go. This might be a bit desaturated, this section here. So I'm just going to quickly paint a little bit of orange temperature on it, so it doesn't look left behind. Oh, that looks so good. And one thing that I want to, of course, emphasize is this. So I'm going to paint on it. Leave it as it is, a little bit colder. Increase the exposure. Increase the highlights a bit though, not too much because it's starting to look a bit fake. Wow, this has a massive difference already. So this is it. This is the before. This is the after. Hopefully you guys like it. I think I can work on the sky a bit more, but the main thing, of course, in this photo is this orange part and the whole, of course, building or whatever structure that is called. But I think it looks great. I personally love the look of this grass and the field behind it. And the sky is not ideal, so I might just quickly change saturation a bit more. Something like this is the definition of orange and teal. So to me, this looks great. Hopefully you guys like it as well. Let me turn on the camera once again and see if things will be working now with the camera. Yes, they are. So the camera should be back online. And with this, I want to thank you for staying with me for 2 hours and a half. It's been a crazy ride, and I want to go through all of these photos and show you the before and the after once again, because if you have missed a portion of, if you have missed a portion of today's live stream, you have missed these photos, and I want to show you what they look like. So here is the first one. This is the before. This is the after. Coming up next, the second photo. This is the before. This is the after. The third one, wow, these colors are just amazing. This is the before. Very, very blue and a bit more purple in the after. The Cathedral. There we go, before, after. With your request about the smoke being a bit more brighter and highlighted. The skyline, probably New York. I think that's it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Before and after. Very moody look. I think I might have went a bit overboard with this look, but I like it a lot. The next one we have is this sunset, beautiful sunset, and the pier before and after. Now the pier is a bit more visible. We can see the people walking by, and we have introduced a little bit of purple in the sunset. The next one we have is the beautiful scene with the Porsche GT2, I would say, GT2 RS, and the Ferrari 430. Before and after. Oh no. Was that another Ferrari, not the 430? It's the 360. Sorry about that. It's the 360. I made a fool out of myself. Ferrari 360. Anyway, this is the next one. Before and after. I really like the look of this ice and the detail of the cracks. Yeah, that looks spooky. Very spooky. Take a look at this hole. And yeah, this is the before and after. Coming up next is the desert photo, which I love the look of. And this is the before. This is the after. Next one is the church, the cathedral in my home city, which I really love. This is the before, which is completely wrong. Sorry about that. The original photo is not like this. It's a lot better. I don't know why it's so saturated, but this is the after. The next one we have is with the surfer. The before and after. I tried to change the green hue to something a bit bluish and give a little pop of these waves so they are a bit brighter. The next one is the mountain with the great bridge on it. If my computer ever loads it, I will let you know. Okay, that's it. So this is the before. Can we do it? My computer is really struggling. Sorry about that. We're halfway done. This is the before. This is the after. Really like this photo, even without any edits, to be honest. Same goes for this one, which is an amazing photo of these salt, whatever they're called, salt places, right next to the sea. Here is the before, here is the after. All right, here we have this beautiful sunrise shot that was stitched together by a couple of photos. Here is the before, and I didn't do too much to it. Here is the after. I could have played a bit more with this photo. It has a lot of potential, this one. It's a raw one as well, but anyway, let's go to the next one from Norway. This is the before. Looks amazing, absolutely spectacular, and this is the after. Now it seems a bit too saturated to me, but yeah, this is the after anyway. The next one we have is a top down, which is pretty simple. This is the before and this is the after. Right, so next one is the dam and the mountains. This is the before. Almost nothing done to this photo because it's crazy good looking as it is. This is the after. Just a little bit of change in the blue in the water and a little bit of settings tweaks in the colors and the shadows and the highlights. The next is the top down from this beach. This is the before and this is the after. I just made the sand a little bit more yellow because it was too white, which is not a bad thing, but for the photo itself I wanted to make it a bit more yellowish and a bit warmer. I also introduced some darker parts around the bottom of the frame, and that's it. Once again, I want to say how much I envy these two guys right here, because they are living their best life, which hopefully we will do soon as well. Next photo is this one from the lighthouse. I think it's a sunrise, so I went ahead and added this this color and this exposure bump in the top part. I would really love to play with this photo a bit more in Photoshop and add a sun flare, so that makes it a bit more realistic in terms of light, so it looks more like a real sunrise. The next one is this top-down shot of the waves, which obviously doesn't need any editing, but I did a small one and it's this one. The next one is this Disney movie home slash church, which looks spectacular, and I love the architecture, I love the photo itself, I love the colors, everything is just great. And this is my little edit. I went for warmer tones. I went for something that looks a bit more dreamy, more cinematic, more along the lines of a Disney movie or something like that. Now the next one is the mountain and the forest and the lake, and this is the before and this is my little edit after. Orange and teal once again, with increased shadows in the trees and a little bit more contrast and colors. The next one is the top-down shot of these waves, which once again don't really need too much, but I added a little bit of detail in the rocks themselves and a little bit of contrast and color in the water too. The next one was the broken JPEG, as I called it. Unfortunately, it was blown out in the upper left corner, but we had to work with it anyway. So it's a beautiful photo, don't get me wrong. I just couldn't save the highlights. So this is the before and this is the after. Nice. Next we have the moody, epic moody foggy shot from Germany, from Paul. This is the before and this is the after. We just emphasized on the fog a little bit and we added a little bit of moody colors so it looks a bit more in tone with the situation. And next we have probably one of my favorite photos from today's live stream, the shark from Tavi, and this is the before. And my crazy edit, which is very unrealistic but I love it, is this one. And yeah, I still quite like it, to be honest. I haven't changed my mind about it. Yeah, this is the next photo which we have from this church, I would say. This is the before and this is after. I put some emphasis on the building itself and set everything to be a bit darker around the building itself. Next we have the windmill, which was just too dark in the bottom and a bit broken as well, even though it was a raw image. I couldn't really do much to it because I just couldn't push the colors too much. It was breaking the image already. So this is my after. Nice soft tweak of the colors, and I decided to introduce a little bit of blue and purple in this corner against the green and the yellow in this corner of the image. Next we have the sunrise, or the sunset, excuse me, which is quite nice looking, and this is my edit of it. I introduced a little bit of light in the bottom section of the part so we can see a little bit of the environment around. Now that I'm looking at this photo, I see a little bit of light leak behind the mountains. The thing that I warned you about that you have to be careful about, I still made that mistake myself. So sorry about that, but yeah, that's the before and that's the after. And finally, the orange and teal look of this beautiful structure. This is the before and this is the after. And those are the 30 photos which I managed to edit in the past 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I want to thank you sincerely for sticking around. I see that many of you are still here in the chat. Many of you guys have been here for many hours now. So I want to thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, even though it was quite exhausting for me to keep talking for such a long time and also edit and think about the images and how I want to edit them. Yeah, it was definitely a good experience for me. Very interesting as well. I saw that I received a lot of emails already from probably many of you guys who want to get the edited versions of your photos, and of course I will send them to you, I promise. I just want to do it tomorrow because I'm quite tired now. It's almost 9 p.m. here and I'm starving, so I'm going to go and have a great dinner with my wife. I'm going to relax, and once again I want to thank you for sticking with me, for watching this live stream. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you saw me edit and learned a few tricks that you can use in your own editing process, and hopefully that will be time well spent for you guys, because it was great for me, even though I was complaining a bit because of my computer, because of how hard it is to talk and edit at the same time. I had a lot of fun, trust me on that. So I want to thank you once again. This whole situation with the coronavirus and everything really made me appreciate everything, and made me start thinking about different ways to talk to you guys, different ways of content that I can create, and I think live streams are one of the best ways to interact with you, even though of course we can't have that many people watching at all times. It's still fine for me even we have 30, 40 or 50 people. It doesn't really matter as long as you guys are writing messages in the chat and I can see them and I can respond to you. That's all that really matters. Even if there are 5 people in the chat, that's just fine for me. So shout out to all of you for sticking with me for the final time. I'm thanking you. I promise I'm not going to thank you anymore. But it's been a pleasure, and I want to wish you good night or good day or whatever you guys are having. I want to wish you all the best. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you very, very soon in another video. So if you have any questions regarding all of this, I'm still going to read the comments in the regular comment section, not the live chat, the regular comment section. Write them down, and tomorrow I'll try to respond to everyone. So thank you once again for all of this. It's been a pleasure. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. I'll catch you very, very soon in my next video. Ciao, guys.